What up, what up, what up? It's your boy, Cardinal Red, and we back with some more of that Ali Land boxing talk, people. And today we talking Manny Pacquiao is fighter of the decade. Alright, y'all, so a lot of news agencies, for some reason, are starting to, remove Manny Pacquiao from their voting of fighter of the decade for some reason. I don't know. Some of them are giving reasons like, he's lost too many times within the decade. His win-loss ratio isn't that high right now, and I'm not understanding what that has to do with the fact that he is fighting the best at an age where they say fighters should have been done 5 years prior. So I'm not understanding why he's not getting the just due for the accolade that he's actually achieving to still be active and active at a championship level in the sport of boxing at 41 years of age is nothing less than miraculous. We've seen it done a few times before, but never at this level. Bernard Hopkins, when he did it, and decided to stick around past 40, it was, I'm not going to say he was fighting lackluster fighters, but he wasn't fighting the best of the best the whole time, And Manny Pacquiao's basically just entered his 40s, so I can't say that he's done it as long as Hopkins has, but he's making it look a lot more spectacular than Hopkins did. George Foreman did it, and he did it in a way that was very spectacular, which brought a lot of fans back to him, which we're seeing the reemergence of through Manny Pacquiao. He's got a George Foreman-esque type of comeback that he's going through right now, and it can, if he continues to do what he's always done, it can only get better, and he can really make something spectacular. He could actually unify those titles, man, if you think about it. And I know a lot of people months ago, when I put out videos like Manny Pacquiao versus Earl Spence or Pacquiao versus Crawford, go back and check those videos out, by the way, that they almost laughed at me because they thought it could never happen after the way he lost to Marquez, or the fact that he got cheated with Jeff Horn, which nobody ever mentions when they talk about the Jeff Horn fight. They only mention the fact that he lost. It's never the fact that he was completely robbed, and Jeff Horn looked like he got beat up by a gang of people after that fight. But, if we think about who else has been within this decade, other than a Floyd Mayweather who hasn't fought active professional boxers the whole decade, Andre Ward, who's been retired for, I think, 3 or 4 years of the decade. If we're not talking guys like Vasyl Lomachenko, who hasn't been as dominant as he is now throughout the whole decade, I don't know who else you could even put in there. Terrence Crawford wasn't active the whole decade. Earl Spence wasn't active the whole decade. He might have been active, but not as big as he is now. He hasn't had the types of fights of Pacquiao's had through that decade. And so when you think about it, who else would you give it to? The only other person I can think of would have to be Canelo Alvarez. And even though he got caught with the juices and everything, he's still an active fighter. He's fought the whole decade. He's beaten them all except for Floyd Mayweather. And, he could only be the only other one, but he has an asterisk. And if you say, well, Canelo has an asterisk in the fact that he took performance enhancers, allegedly, and, well, it's been allegedly, and Manny Pacquiao has an asterisk because he lost, I would have to say that Manny Pacquiao, his accomplishments through the decade would have to outweigh Canelo Alvarez because he got caught with a performance enhancer. That takes a lot away from your abilities if you're performance enhancing. So I would have to say Manny Pacquiao, no matter what nobody says, is fighter of the decade. You can't take away the fact of all these people he beat and in such a dominant fashion up until the Floyd Mayweather fight and until the Marquez fight. He was even winning the Marquez fight. And a lot of people, including myself, think he beat Mayweather with by 1 point, controversially, but by 1 point because there was not a lot of action in that fight, and the only action was coming from Manny Pacquiao. I'm not gonna ramble on too long. Let me know what y'all think down in the comment section. Manny Pacquiao is fighter of the decade, no matter what. It's Ollie Land Boxing Talk for now, and we out of here.